Hey everyone, what if you received a letter in your mailbox today that said, attention, you have $34 trillion in debt? What would you do first? Would you throw the letter in the burn pile? Would you rip it up out of rage and anger that you have so much debt? Or would you put it in a frame and hang it on your wall because that is an amazing accomplishment, $34 trillion in debt? Well, I can tell you this much, it is not a fantasy, it is true. We now collectively have $34 trillion in debt, rapidly approaching 35 trillion, which they are anticipating by November of this year, which is honestly not that far away. We are burning through money very, very rapidly right now, and this is a major problem, and we are going to see global aftershocks as a result of hitting this major milestone, and it's going to impact you, your money, your finances, and all kinds of things like this. And why I want to focus on it here in this video, because this is going to impact all of us in a major way. Therefore, that's the focus of the video. Let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to focus on the details of the federal government, as in how much money they bring in through their income sources, how much expenditures they have on an annualized basis, as well as the deficit that they do run on an annualized basis as well. In other words, by the way, when I say deficit, I simply mean, let's just say, for example, they bring in $10 trillion a year in revenues, but yet they spend $11.8 trillion, leaving a deficit of $1.8 trillion. In other words, their expenditures are more than their income, okay? So they're racking up debt very, very fast, and that is the reality of the situation that we're currently dealing with right now, which, by the way, yes, the deficit on an annualized basis for the federal government is $1.8 trillion. Could you imagine what a lifestyle that would be, right? For all of us to rack up a deficit of that much, $1.8 trillion a year, life would be pretty fun. You could have everything multiple times over because that is a massive amount of money, right? $1.8 trillion is huge. If you don't believe me, try writing that number down on a piece of paper for a second. I guarantee you'll probably miss a couple sets of zeros and maybe a comma or two. Seriously, it's a huge, huge number. Anyway, let me quickly get into it here and talk about the details of why this is so important, the global aftershocks that I'm talking about here, and what this means for all of us and our personal finances. So let me break down the different income sources that the federal government has, as in where they get all their money, and then I do want to break down a few different line items as far as their expenditures and give you percentages related to those expenditures as well. And you'll clearly see money comes in and it goes right back out the door, and where does that money go as well. And again, I will talk about here in just a second what this is going to mean for you and me and everybody else out there, as this is all the weight on our shoulders. Believe it or not, a lot of times we think, let's just kick it down to the road to the grandkids. Nope, that's not how it works. It's all on us, okay? So anyway, let me break down those numbers for you really quickly. Let me give you the percentages and where this money is coming from and where it's going, okay? So get this. The federal government gets 47% of their annual income through personal taxes, as in you and me and everybody else out there who cuts a check, whether it's on a weekly, a bi-weekly, a monthly, a quarterly, or an annualized basis. When we cut a check to the federal government, or they just, gather their money through payroll taxes and things like this is where they get 47% of their income. It's a lot, right? Trillions and trillions of dollars, okay? That's 47%. Now get this, 37% of their income comes in through Social Security and Medicare payroll taxes. Again, 37% comes in right there. Now get this little percentage, 9.5% of money coming into the federal government comes in through corporations. Not a bad life, right? I mean, let's just be real. 9.5% of total income coming from corporations. Who has the deep pockets here? Is it you and me, or is it corporations? Last time I checked, there are multiple multi-trillion-dollar corporations and multiple tons and tons of multi-billion-dollar corporations out there. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about you. Even though the channel name is Blind to Billionaire, I'm not a billionaire, okay? I just want to be a billionaire. That's it. There's a big difference between being and wanting. I'm a wannabe, right? Seriously, I am, okay? I'm just simply saying, there's a lot of people out there that have much deeper pockets than ours, okay? My pockets, only my little finger reaches in, only about, up to the first knuckle. Not very deep, just saying, okay? Anyway, I hope your pocket's a little deeper than mine, but that's not the case for most people, right? So anyway, that's where they get the bulk of their income. Now get this. Let's quickly talk about their expenditures as well, okay? Because you might be wondering, okay, that's a lot of money. We're talking trillions of dollars here, but where does it go? Um, Good question. I think you're asking the same question many people are wondering the same thing about. Hey, everybody, where did it go, right? Good question. A lot of times they may not even have the answer to that. But we do have a couple line items here that I do want to break down for you to let you know where it goes, okay? Medicare and Medicaid. This takes the bulk of the cake. 24% of federal spending goes to Medicare and Medicaid, which, by the way, quick side note here, about 65 million people are enrolled in Medicare and about 93 million people are enrolled in Medicaid as of right now. Okay, that's a lot of people. What is that? Collectively, what is that? 160 million people, roughly, about. It's a lot, right? It's about half the population of this country right now, okay? It's a ton of people, right? So anyway, that is 24% of the total expenditures. Social Security, again, 71 million people enrolled in Social Security, and this encompasses 22% of federal spending here in the country, okay? So those two alone, 24% and 22%, that's a lot of the income for the money that goes out from the federal government. Now, next, defense. This is 13% of spending, okay? Now, again, I'm not sure about you, but I feel like defense is probably pretty important stuff, right? It's like defending your home. It's like just everything, right? I mean, now, obviously, I was just giving that as an example, but the 13% is not like, defense for your home. I'm just simply saying it's like, defense is always kind of important. It's a thing out there that we always want to, pay attention to. But anyway, 13% of the federal budget goes to defense. Now, 11%, get this one, a total waste of money, in my opinion, interest on the debt. Literally interest. That's it. Could you imagine that? On trillions of dollars. 11% of $34 trillion is a lot of debt, a lot of interest that we're paying on debt right now. In fact, they're anticipating that this year alone, we will pay $1 trillion in interest just on our debt. That's massive, okay? That's $1 trillion that we're literally throwing in the garbage in the form of interest. It's a lot of money. Seriously, right down the tubes, and you get nothing for it, right? So anyway, these are the details about this. Now, why do I want to bring this to your attention here, and what does it mean for all of us as well as our personal finances? Well, guess what the only way out of this is? Yep, you guessed it. Higher taxes, okay? So that is what they're talking about here, and what they're alluding to is that the only way that we can get out of this mess that we're in and that all of these politicians have literally put us into is a couple different things. Number one, cut spending, which, okay, yeah, that would be a very good thing considering we're spending $1.8 trillion more than what we bring in a year. Again, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, I'm a person that likes to cut back on spending. I'm always looking for a discount. I love free stuff. Why? Because I don't want to spend as much, right? When money is tight, what do I like to do? Cut back. That's what I personally like to do, because why would I spend more than what I can afford? That's just me. I'm just simply saying, okay? Now, again, I also carry pretty big balances on credit cards. I'm just saying, okay? Not proud of it, but I do. But again, when I'm in this situation, what do I like to do? Cut back on my spending, right? Same thing here. So that's what they're saying is, number one, they can cut back on spending. That's number one. And number two is increase income. That's just a nice way of saying raise taxes on the people, okay? So when I said earlier in this video, this $34 trillion that is out there right now that the federal government has in debt, it's on our shoulders. It is. We're not going to kick this down the road to the grandkids. I mean, to some degree we will. But at the end of the day, it's all on us as well. And at the end of the day, when they come and they ask for more of our hard-earned income, that's going to be very detrimental for a lot of people. So, unfortunately, this is the situation that we're in right now, and we're racking up debt massively. In fact, they're spending money like it's literally going out of style. I mean, seriously, not a bad lifestyle, right? To just spend that much money left and right like that and have like no care in the world. I mean, that's not how we can operate our personal lives, but yet that's how the federal government is operated, right? So anyway, I wanted to bring this to your attention. At the end of the day, we cannot sustain this for very long, okay? So we might be able to think, hey, who cares? It's just $34 trillion. But you know what? What implodes the economy every single time? Debt, okay? When debt gets way too high, like what it is now, and again, it's all relative. What is way too high? Well, that's anybody's guess, right? We don't really know, but all we know is that we are in record territory. We've never touched these levels of debt before, and we know that when we get record levels of debt like this, and we are beyond levels that we've ever seen before, this is what takes down economies. This is what takes down global economies in a massive way, right? Like a big old wrecking ball. Whack! There it goes. See ya. you know? So anyway, I want to bring this to your attention and what this all means for us. Very important. We need to continue watching this very closely. So with that being said, do yourself a huge favor. Subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos going forward. Share the video with your friends on social media. Go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. And as always, leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Until next time, enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll catch you again later.